Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and welcome to our presentation. In here, we will explain our project to create a competition that is based on a startup ideas called Find Up. To find the best, you need the best. To first introduce our competition, my friend Dhio will explain what it is.
Okay, I will explain the introduction of our project. Since the COVID pandemic hit the world since 2020, it is very difficult for all levels of society to be able in the face of this pandemic. There are so many sectors that are significantly impacted, especially those that focus on business as well as industry. Most of them finally couldn't survive and end up in tangible in bankruptcy. This problem eventually becomes a common threat for the whole community, especially the younger generation, or we can say the Generation Z, who are expected to have a who are expected to have awareness to be able to contribute in solving this problem. What are we planning? We plan to overcome all these problems. We plan to hold a startup-based business competition, which aim to have a broad and comprehensive impact and also sustainable. We hope that through this competition, we can find a variety of innovation as well as collective solution, which can be sustained and approachable. We also find many issues from the young generation, or we can say the Generation Z. The first is a lack of adaptability, which because of difficulty in being able to adapt to various conditions. The second is lack awareness from Generation Z to want to contribute to the society. The third is communication problem, which is because of different background on each other. And the last is a teamworking problem, which is they prioritize their ego and are not collective in solving problem. I think that's all for me, and it will proceed to Aldika.
Okay, to first find out what Find Up is, let me introduce what is our competition. So Find Up is a startup competition that is aimed to find the best startup. To find the best startup, we need to find the best talent. And Find Up is a competition that will give a platform towards young entrepreneurs to show off their skill to start a startup idea that would thrive in a modern world. Now, I want to first explain why. So as a background, as you know, maybe a startup is a very common word that many people know. Startup is a business plan that has thrived over the last decades. You know, many startup has become huge companies, and with growing talents, the market has been the most competitive it's ever been. And with competitiveness, survivability is very crucial for a startup to not just make profit but come up to the top. Especially in this pandemic time, it is very hard for a startup to thrive, and it is very hard to maintain a constant business income. It's hard to keep the consumer base percentage, and we want to find a fresh idea with great plan that can bring a new fresh and a fresh idea that can survive in various kind of situation, like not just pandemic, but because we are our world is getting is being more modern than ever. We want to find a startup that that can break through the all the competition. Next, we can explain what is the rundown of the competition itself. So the competition itself will be held mainly in 1 day, but prior to that, there will be several stages. First is the registration and validation. Now, applicants that are interested in competing in this Find Up competition, they will first need to register themselves and apply their ideas. Now, and next, because that not all teams can join the competition, we'll need to eliminate some of the ideas and run down and find the best maybe 20 ideas that will be allowed to compete in our competition. Now, after we have announced those teams that have passed through the validation stage, those teams will be given a discussion time for 1 week from 9 December to 16 to refine and develop their startup idea, so that in the 18th, the D-Day, they can pitch their idea to a panel of judge that is consists of many startup founders, successful one. And the same day, the announcement will be made of the best ideas of the pitching of those several groups. I think that that's all that I can explain about what is Find Up.
Okay, next one I will explain about the event related. So event related will be conduct cover about the participant, guest, tentative, and financial. The first one is the participant. Who is the participant? So here, the main target of the event is UTM student, and the secondary target is the public. So since the event is conduct on UTM, so the main target of this event will be UTM student from any faculties. The next one is the main second target is public because this event is open for public, so the participant can be anyone but must be university student. Next one, we move on the guest. So here the guest will be separated to be speaker and a guest. So but the speaker we invite that Ahmed Zaki. Ahmed Zaki is the founder of Bukalapak e-commerce. So here about the educational background, you can see and read on the screen. Next one, we move on the honor and awards he received. So here the honor and receive he get as a Bukalapak founder. Next one, we move on the guests. So here the guests are Eric Chang and Jen Toh, are founder of Karsam Malaysia and have the HQ at Petaling Jaya, Selangor, Malaysia. Next one, we move on into the tentative. So the tentative here is actually the tentative made only for 1 day event on 18 February 2022. So this is the tentative. The next one is the financial. The financial here we calculate the spending of the event and calculate the income of the event. Here about the spending or the expenditure estimation, as we can see here. And we move on into the income here. The income estimation, as we can see on the screen, that has 3,750 ringgit Malaysia as the income. Maybe that's all for the event related. Move on into evaluation monitoring importance with Rafiy Athalla.
Move along to the evaluation monitoring and importance. We move to the monitoring. There are several units during the event. First is the director, assistant director, secretary, then treasurer, then sponsorship. They have public relation, multimedia consumption, along with registration. All of these units have their respective role and improvement. For such as the director, is to ensure all of the unit carry the job responsibility, and you can see the improvement right beside it. How role meeting to ensure the progress of the event running smoothly. Assistant director as well, help the director monitor all of the units, ensure there are no miscommunication on all the units as the improvement. You can see all the role and the improvement provided here. And along with the next one, this public relation, multimedia consumption, and registration. These units have each of their role, and they can improve along as what the improvement said. Move along to the evaluation. We are planning to conduct two method of evaluation plan. First is the postmortem. This evaluation is done by the committee. After the event ends, all the committee will gather and identify the weakness that they have witnessed during the event, and hopefully try to find the best solution to improve for the next event. Next is the survey on Google Form. A Google Form will be given to the VIP guests, the participant, and they will evaluate how the event goes and based on what they have experienced. Next is the importance. Importance of significance means what impact does this event have in the participant itself and also the UTM. First is the increase of the ability of critical thinking and developing a new startup idea. Next is a first-hand on experience presenting your business in front of qualified judges. Next is able to adapt to the needs of the people during this pandemic era, hence increasing the participant adaptability. Next is learn how to lead and how to be led by others during the cooperation in business idea making. That's all for me.
Okay, to conclude our presentation, we want this competition to succeed, as we don't only see it as a competition but also as a platform to find new talent in the in the startup world, to find out the freshest idea, and not just an idea, but maybe it can develop into something serious, something into like a really real business, the real startup that can be started. So I think that's all that we can conclude in this presentation. Thank you very much for watching. Wassalamualaikum, and thank you from all of us.